Appoggiatura. My name is Benjamin Garbaggio, and welcome to the third session of the Bathroom Violin Tutor. Today we'll be working on actually pizzing, but this time we're going to use the left hand to play some notes, and we'll play some scales. So, we're going to want to do some stretches. Again, you can do some silly stretches with your students as spoken about in Violin Session 1. So when you're going to be putting your fingers onto the fingerboard and onto the strings, you're going to want to use the pads of your fingers. That's the fleshy part that comes right before your nail starts to jut out. So when you're holding down a note, you're going to want to make sure that your fingers are curving over. So that way when you have to play notes later on, see if you can kind of see that there's space in there. So because when you want to play the notes later on, you don't want to have, you want to be able to play the next string. You don't want them to be muted by the fact that your finger that is holding on a note on, say, the G string is accidentally, because of improper posture, ghosting the next string. A nice little metaphor you could use for this is you don't want to squeeze the chick. So if you pretend that there's a chick in between your hand here, like a baby chicken, you don't want to squish it or else it will be dead. As you can see, the fingering chart is somewhere on the screen, and you can follow that while I play through the G major scale to get a further understanding of how to approach this in teaching to a class. So I'm going to play an open G, then I'm going to use my pointer finger to play an A, so that's the first finger, and then I'm going to leave a little gap between the next note, as you could probably tell in the fingering chart, and use my second finger or my middle finger to play a B. And then right beside that B, right beside that finger, I'm going to put my third finger down and play a C. And you can see in the fingering chart that the B and the C are quite close to each other. That's your fingers are basically touching when they're on their fingerboard. An important thing to remember when you're playing any note on the violin is that you need to keep the previous fingers on the fingerboard when you're playing. So, for example, if I'm playing an A, that's just the A. But if I'm playing a B, I need to make sure that I also leave down that A. I'm not moving it away. I have to leave down the A, and then I can put down the C after that, and I'm leaving down the B. And then when I'm playing an open string, the next string, open, the D string, I can leave nothing, and then go again. And it uses the same pattern, so D, E, F sharp again with the third finger, and with a little gap between, and then with the second finger, and then the third finger comes along with closing the gap to hit that high G. Right? And now if we want to move to the next octave, which is encouraged with the G major scale, you hit that open A again, first finger, oops, in that first position, and then, but this time instead of making a gap, which isn't correct, we're going to actually go beside that finger, as you can probably see with the fingering chart, right? So that A, B, C, and then we're going to go D up top with the third finger, and then E, F, and then G, and you close that gap again. And then you can play it down. So I will include some exercises that you can use to practice the scale. As students become better and better at just playing the G major scale, you can introduce a D major scale, which I'm also going to include a fingering chart for. Quick game or kind of task you can show students to practice at home to better strengthen their left hand technique on the fingerboard is to have them plop down their fingers on any real tile with their palm down and ask them to tap out some sort of rhythm with each finger individually. For example, we can go Mississippi pow pow, Mississippi pow pow, Mississippi pow pow. And then you can move on to the next finger. Mississippi pow pow, 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 Mississippi pow pow. And really the focus should be to get the finger as high as you can, and there should be kind of an audible hit. As you can probably tell, this finger right here, the ring finger, is not as strong as the other ones. For beginner players, this will be a persistent problem unless thoroughly exercised. To better help with this, if you can't even raise your finger at the start, you can try holding both the pinky and the middle finger and try to raise the forefinger like that, or the ring finger. And if that still doesn't work, you can actually manually lift the finger up and kind of exercise it that way. Now this task or exercise is incredibly easy. You can do it on a subway or in a car on any hard surface such as a book or a computer. It's so easy, you could even do it on the toilet, as I'm doing right now. Game time. So a game you can play with your students to get them more acquainted to the notes on a violin as they are written down in music is to make a paper die like this and to write note names on the paper die. You or a student could roll the die and then everybody is expected to try and play that note.